Have you ever found yourself on the verge of exploding, unable to hold back your frustration when someone crosses a line or says something hurtful? Perhaps there are days when even the slightest glance, a poorly chosen word, or a dismissive gesture feels like the universe conspiring against you. In a world that seems to spin faster each day, fueled by relentless demands and ceaseless noise, it's easy to lose yourself in the pull of negative emotions. From petty irritations to blinding anger, the triggers are everywhere. But is there a way to rise above it all, to remain steady, unshaken, and in control when everything else feels like it's spiraling out of control? Is it truly possible to live a life where peace isn't a fleeting visitor, but a steadfast companion? For centuries, Stoicism, a philosophy born in the ancient streets of Greece and refined by the minds of great thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, has offered answers to these questions. These philosophers faced hardships we can scarcely imagine, yet they found ways to nurture tranquility, remaining calm even amidst chaos. Their wisdom, though ancient, echoes with timeless clarity, offering us tools to take charge of our emotions and reclaim our inner strength. Imagine what life could feel like if, no matter what happened around you, no one and nothing could rattle you. It's not just a distant dream, but an achievable reality. To unlock this, we dive deep into the transformative lessons of Stoicism, distilled not as lofty ideals, but as practical, everyday tools. These are insights meant to be lived, not merely pondered. They offer the keys to break free from anger's grip, to refuse to be held hostage by someone else's words or actions, and to steer your emotions instead of being swept away by them. At its heart, Stoicism begins with acceptance, not a resigned, passive kind, but a powerful, deliberate embrace of life as it is, raw, unpredictable, and imperfect. Picture yourself in the middle of a mundane task, like scrubbing a sink full of dirty dishes. You can grumble about how unfair it feels, how much you despise doing it, and how you wish someone else would. Or you can take a deep breath, let go of the resistance, and see the task for what it is. An opportunity, however small, to cultivate patience and gratitude. Marcus Aurelius said it well in Meditations. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together. But do so with all your heart. His words carry a quiet revolution. Life changes not when circumstances shift, but when you shift your approach to them. Imagine, for instance, you're stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic. Your schedule is tight, the clock's ticking, and frustration wells up like a volcano. Most would rage at the delay, stewing in impatience. But what if instead you accepted the moment as it is? What if, instead of clenching your jaw, you used this time to reflect on your day, listen to an audiobook, or simply take a moment of stillness? Epictetus in his wisdom reminds us, do not seek to have events happen as you want them to, but instead want them to happen as they do, and your life will go well. This doesn't mean complacency, but clarity, a deep, unshakable understanding that while you cannot control the storm, you can always master the way you navigate through it. At its core, Stoicism isn't about changing life's external chaos, but learning to control your inner narrative. This perspective not only transforms how you see daily annoyances, but also reshapes your larger purpose. When you ask yourself, what is my true vision? You begin to realize the futility of trivial goals. Acquiring possessions or earning accolades might bring fleeting satisfaction, but a grander vision, a life lived with integrity, courage, and peace, offers fulfillment that no circumstance can take away. This brings us to a profound shift, the ability to stop judging others. It's startling how often we label people without a second thought. Someone cuts in line and we instantly think, how rude! A co-worker misses a deadline, and we murmur, "How irresponsible." But consider this: how much of your irritation comes from the actions themselves, and how much from your judgment of them? Marcus Aurelius invites us to choose differently. You always own the option of having no opinion. Imagine that, the freedom to let others' behavior wash over you without dragging you down. People act out of their own realities, shaped by experiences you may never know. That slow driver might be cautious because they've endured a traumatic accident. That grumpy cashier might be struggling with unseen burdens. When you pause to reflect on this, empathy often takes the place of judgment. And when empathy blooms, the anger shrivels. The person in front of you hasn't changed, but your reaction to them has. And that ultimately is where your power lies. Non-judgment is not weakness, it's wisdom. It doesn't ask you to ignore wrongs, but to refuse their control over your peace. When someone behaves poorly, ask yourself, what might they be experiencing? This doesn't excuse harmful actions, but it liberates you from being consumed by them. Consider the words of Seneca. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. To respond not with fire, but with grace, is to master your inner world. Even deeper than releasing judgment is relinquishing control. So much of our unhappiness stems from clinging to the illusion that we can shape every detail of our lives. But the truth is stark. We control so little. Other people's opinions, the outcome of our efforts, even the weather. These are things we can never govern. And yet, we spend our days trying, fighting reality itself. Stoicism invites us to loosen this grip. Picture a river. You can struggle against the current, exhausting yourself, or you can learn to steer with its flow. When you release the need for control, you're not giving up, you're freeing yourself. Marcus Aurelius beautifully observed, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." To embrace this wisdom is to become unshakable. Challenges will come. Life will not bend to your will. But when you learn to bend with life, when you accept it as it unfolds, you become resilient. You start to see that peace isn't something external to chase. It's something within to cultivate. Letting go of control doesn't mean surrendering your ability to act. Rather, it shifts your focus to where your energy truly matters, your own thoughts, choices, and reactions. Imagine yourself as the captain of a ship, navigating through unpredictable seas. You cannot dictate the direction of the wind or the height of the waves, but you can adjust your sails and steer your vessel with skill. In life, the winds are other people's behaviors, the waves are unforeseen circumstances, and your response is the mastery of your ship. When you grasp this, you no longer feel the need to battle the storm. You simply adapt, conserving your strength for what you can influence. This mindset leads to another liberating realization. Perfection is an illusion. So much of our frustration stems from expecting people, situations, or even ourselves to be flawless. But the world is inherently messy, unpredictable, and imperfect, and that's precisely what makes it beautiful. Think of a cracked vase that still holds flowers. Its imperfections don't diminish its purpose. They add to its story. The same goes for life. Consider the daily frustrations you encounter. A co-worker makes a mistake that affects your work. A friend forgets an important date, or someone you care about speaks carelessly. It's natural to feel upset, but ask yourself, is it fair to demand perfection? Would you hold yourself to the same standard without compassion? Epictetus reminds us, it is not events that disturb people, it is their judgments concerning them. When you let go of the demand for perfection, you free yourself from the unnecessary burden of disappointment. Take an example. Imagine you've spent weeks preparing for a special event. You've envisioned every detail going smoothly, from the weather to the mood of the guests. But on the day of the event, it rains, or perhaps a key element of the plan falls through. Your initial reaction might be frustration, thinking, this isn't how it was supposed to go. But Stoicism teaches us to step back and embrace the imperfection. Rain doesn't ruin an event unless you let it. A setback doesn't negate the joy unless you choose to focus on what went wrong rather than what's still beautiful. Marcus Aurelius had a profound habit of beginning his day by preparing for the inevitable flaws of life. He wrote, "Today I shall meet with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness, all of them due to the offender's ignorance of what is good or evil." This isn't a pessimistic outlook, but a shield of realism. By anticipating imperfection, he could approach challenges with a calm and steady mind, unshaken by the shortcomings of the world. This perspective doesn't mean settling for mediocrity or ignoring the potential for growth. On the contrary, it liberates you to focus on meaningful improvements. When you stop wasting energy on futile demands for perfection, you have more to invest in what truly matters. For instance, in relationships, we often expect our partners or loved ones to understand us instinctively, to always act in ways that align with our desires. But the truth is, even the people closest to us are navigating their own imperfect worlds. Instead of dwelling on unmet expectations, consider how you can communicate more openly, fostering connection rather than frustration. There's a profound peace in accepting imperfection as a natural part of life. It allows you to forgive mistakes, not only in others, but also in yourself. When you stop fighting the reality of human fallibility, you open the door to compassion. Picture someone who constantly criticizes you, whether at work, at home, or in social circles. Their words sting, and it's easy to label them as mean-spirited or unfair. But what if their criticism stems from their own pain, insecurity, or struggles? Viewing their behavior through this lens doesn't excuse it, but it shifts your reaction. Instead of anger, you might feel empathy, and with empathy comes peace. This acceptance leads naturally to the next step, taking responsibility for your emotions. When you stop blaming others or circumstances for how you feel, you reclaim the power over your inner world. Imagine standing in line at a coffee shop and someone cuts in front of you. Irritation flares and you might think, how dare they disrespect me? But pause for a moment. What is really happening here? Their action doesn't have to ruin your day unless you let it. You can choose to shrug it off, smile, and focus on the things that truly matter. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. These words contain a profound truth. No matter what happens externally, your reaction is yours alone. By taking ownership of your emotions, you free yourself from being a puppet to the whims of others. Someone insults you? Their words only hurt if you give them the power to. A delay or setback occurs. It's only a catastrophe if you frame it as one. Practicing this can feel challenging at first. Our instincts often push us toward immediate emotional responses. That's why the pause is so important. When faced with a triggering moment, step back, literally if needed, and ask yourself, am I overreacting? Is this worth my peace? Often the answer reveals itself. It's not worth it. This simple pause, repeated consistently, builds a habit of emotional mastery. A helpful exercise in this journey is journaling. Each evening, reflect on the moments that upset you during the day. Write them down, along with your reactions, and consider how you might respond differently in the future. Over time, this practice sharpens your awareness and equips you with the tools to navigate life's challenges with greater calmness and clarity. Taking responsibility for your emotions doesn't mean suppressing them. It's about understanding them, channeling them wisely and ensuring they align with the kind of person you aspire to be. When you stop letting external forces dictate your mood, you reclaim a freedom that's deeper than any physical liberty. As Marcus Aurelius so eloquently put it, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. The next time you find yourself on the brink of anger or frustration, pause and ask, do I want to hand over my peace to this moment? More often than not, the answer will be no. And in that decision, you'll discover a profound strength, the strength to remain steady, even as the world. The power of taking responsibility for your emotions is transformative, but it becomes even more potent when paired with the art of non-reaction. Life, as we know, is unpredictable. People will criticize, moments will test our patience, and circumstances will sometimes feel unfair. These events, though seemingly small, can provoke strong emotional responses that ripple through our day. Yet the Stoics teach us that true mastery lies not in avoiding these moments, but in how we choose to face them. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." These words carry a profound truth. Our emotions don't arise from external events, but from how we interpret them. Imagine someone cuts in line ahead of you at the grocery store. Your immediate reaction might be anger or indignation, thinking, "How dare they?" But pause for a moment. Does their behavior truly harm you? Or is it your interpretation of the act that fuels your irritation? Non-reaction doesn't mean passivity. It doesn't mean you condone wrong behavior or allow others to trample over you. Instead, it's about choosing a measured response over an impulsive one. When you decide not to react immediately, you reclaim control over the situation and, more importantly, over yourself. Picture a colleague who criticizes you during a meeting. The sting of their words might urge you to snap back in defense. But what if you paused? What if, instead of reacting emotionally, you simply said, "Thank you for your feedback. I'll take that into consideration." That moment of restraint accomplishes two things. First, it disarms the person who criticized you, often leaving them to reflect on their own words. Second, it preserves your peace and dignity, showing that you're in control, not their provocations. Seneca once advised, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." A momentary pause, a single deep breath, can be enough to shift your perspective and transform the trajectory of a situation. But non-reaction is more than just a tactic. It's a philosophy of strength. Choosing not to engage with negativity doesn't signify weakness. It's a reflection of deep inner resilience. Think about it. If someone throws an insult your way and you choose to smile or stay silent, what have they gained? Nothing. You've robbed their negativity of its power. Reacting, on the other hand, often drags you into a spiral where anger feeds anger, leaving both parties worse off. Consider a common scenario. A heated argument with a loved one. Tempers flare, voices rise, and words are exchanged that can't be taken back. But imagine if, in the middle of the argument, one person simply stops. They breathe, they reflect, and they choose to respond calmly or not at all. The argument begins to lose its momentum, and the air clears for understanding to take its place. This isn't about winning or proving a point. It's about safeguarding the relationship and your peace. A practical way to cultivate non-reaction is through the Stoic exercise of premeditatio malorum, or anticipating adversity. Each morning, take a few moments to visualize potential challenges you might face that day. Harsh words from a co-worker, a frustrating delay, or an unexpected change of plans. By mentally preparing for these scenarios, you reduce their emotional impact when they arise. It's not about expecting the worst, but about fortifying your mind to handle life's uncertainties with grace. Another tool is the power of silence. Sometimes the best response to negativity is no response at all. Seneca wisely observed, "If a donkey kicks you and you kick back, you are both donkeys." By choosing silence, you refuse to lower yourself to the level of the negativity you encounter. This doesn't mean avoiding confrontation when necessary, but recognizing when silence serves you better than words. In doing so, you maintain your composure and preserve your energy for things that truly matter. Think about the last time someone's words or actions upset you. Was your reaction fueled by the event itself, or by your interpretation of it? If you could go back, how might you respond differently? These moments of reflection are invaluable in training your mind to pause, evaluate, and choose calmness over chaos. Non-reaction also allows you to embody what Marcus Aurelius called an unshaken soul. Life will always have its storms, but you can choose to be the calm within them. The next time someone tries to provoke you, ask yourself, "Is this worth my peace?" More often than not, the answer will be no, and in that choice, you'll find a profound sense of empowerment and freedom. As you master non-reaction, something extraordinary begins to happen. You create space within yourself for compassion and understanding. When you're no longer consumed by anger or frustration, your heart opens to the struggles of others. And in that openness, you discover the profound joy of selflessness. Think about the times you've helped someone without expecting anything in return. Maybe you lent a listening ear to a friend going through a tough time, or assisted a stranger in need. Those moments likely left you feeling lighter, more connected, and deeply fulfilled. That's because selflessness, at its core, isn't just about giving to others. It's about freeing yourself from the confines of ego. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love." These words serve as a gentle reminder to approach each day with gratitude and an open heart. When you choose to see life as an opportunity to give rather than to take, you transform not only the world around you, but also your inner world. Imagine a coworker who constantly criticizes you. Their behavior might initially spark resentment, but what if, instead of reacting with anger, you chose empathy? What if you paused to consider that their criticism might stem from their own insecurities or struggles? This shift in perspective doesn't excuse their behavior, but it allows you to respond with kindness rather than retaliation. Over time, such responses can soften even the harshest relationships, fostering mutual respect and understanding. Forgiveness, too, is a powerful act of selflessness. When you let go of grudges, you free yourself from the weight of anger and resentment. Consider a family member who has hurt you with careless words or actions. Carrying that pain only prolongs your suffering, while forgiveness offers you freedom. As Seneca said, wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness. By choosing to forgive, you're not just extending compassion to others, you're granting yourself the gift of peace. Selflessness also teaches you to find joy in the act of giving. Whether it's your time, your attention, or your resources, each act of generosity strengthens your connection to the world. It reminds you that you're part of something greater than yourself, and in those moments of giving, you discover a deeper sense of purpose, one that transcends fleeting emotions or external circumstances. When you practice selflessness, you don't just change the lives of those around you, you transform your own. You become lighter, freer, and more aligned with the Stoic ideal of living in harmony with nature. And as you navigate the challenges of life, this harmony becomes your greatest source of strength. As selflessness becomes a natural part of your life, you begin to notice a profound shift in how you experience the world. The things that once provoked anger or frustration lose their grip on you. The sharp edges of others' words no longer cut as deeply, and the chaos of daily life feels less overwhelming. Why? Because you've learned to focus not on what you can't control, but on the immense power you hold within, to choose kindness, forgiveness, and understanding over negativity. One of the most liberating aspects of selflessness is how it opens the door to deeper connections with others. Think about the relationships in your life: family, friends, colleagues. How often are misunderstandings or conflicts fueled by ego, by a need to be right or to defend your pride? When you let go of that need, something remarkable happens. Instead of seeing people as adversaries or obstacles, you begin to see them as fellow travelers on the same journey, each with their own struggles and aspirations. Imagine a situation where a friend lets you down. Perhaps they cancel plans last minute or fail to support you during a tough time. It's easy to feel hurt or betrayed, to dwell on how their actions affected you. But what if you shifted your perspective? What if, instead of focusing on what they didn't do, you considered what they might be going through? This doesn't mean ignoring your feelings or excusing harmful behavior, but rather choosing to approach the situation with empathy. Empathy is a cornerstone of selflessness. When you take a moment to step into someone else's shoes, you gain a clearer understanding of their actions and motivations. That friend who cancelled plans might be dealing with their own stress or challenges. That co-worker who snapped at you might be under immense pressure. When you see beyond the surface, your response becomes less about your own hurt and more about offering understanding. This approach isn't just beneficial for others, it's transformative for you. By choosing to respond with compassion rather than resentment, you free yourself from the cycle of negative emotions. You no longer carry the heavy burden of anger or disappointment. Instead, you feel lighter, more at peace, and more in control of your own happiness. Selflessness also invites you to view challenges as opportunities for growth. Picture a situation where someone criticizes you, whether it's a boss, a family member, or even a stranger. The initial sting might make you want to defend yourself or lash out, but what if you paused? What if you asked yourself, is there truth in what they're saying? Can I use this as a chance to improve? Even if their delivery is harsh or unfair, their words might hold a kernel of insight. By approaching criticism with humility, you turn a potentially negative experience into a valuable lesson. This mindset extends to how you interact with the world at large. Every day offers countless opportunities to practice selflessness, small moments that, when added together, create a life of meaning and fulfillment. Helping a stranger carry their groceries, listening intently to a friend's worries, or even offering a kind word to someone who seems down, these simple acts have a ripple effect. They not only brighten someone else's day, but also nurture a sense of connection and purpose within you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." When your thoughts are centered on giving, understanding, and compassion, your life becomes richer and more joyful. This isn't to say challenges will disappear, or that people will always respond in kind. There will still be moments of difficulty, misunderstandings, and even rejection. But when your actions stem from a place of selflessness, those moments lose their power to derail your peace. Another vital aspect of selflessness is the realization that it's not about grand gestures or dramatic sacrifices. True selflessness often lies in the quiet, unspoken acts of kindness that require no recognition. It's about being present for someone who needs you, even if they don't ask. It's about choosing patience when someone is short-tempered, or forgiveness when someone has wronged you. These moments, though seemingly small, have the power to transform relationships and build bridges where there were once walls. Consider a family member who tends to be critical or difficult to deal with. It's tempting to respond in kind, to point out their flaws or match their negativity. But what if you chose a different path? What if, instead of reacting, you decided to listen without judgment? What if you offered kindness instead of criticism? Over time, your actions might soften their attitude, creating a more harmonious relationship. And even if they don't change, you'll find that your own sense of peace remains intact. This ability to rise above negativity is rooted in the Stoic principle of focusing on what you can control. You can't change other people's behavior, but you can always choose how you respond to it. And when your response is guided by selflessness and compassion, you reclaim your power. You're no longer at the mercy of others' actions or words. Instead, you're grounded in your own values, unshaken by the storms around you. Selflessness also has a profound way of revealing what truly matters in life. When you strip away the distractions of ego, pride, and material pursuits, you're left with the things that bring genuine fulfillment, connection, purpose, and the knowledge that you've made a positive impact on the world. These are the treasures that can't be taken away, no matter what challenges you face. As you cultivate this mindset, you begin to see every interaction as an opportunity to practice kindness, patience, and understanding. Whether it's a heated argument, a moment of criticism, or a chance encounter with a stranger, each moment becomes a chance to choose selflessness over selfishness, compassion over anger, and peace over conflict. And perhaps most importantly, selflessness reminds us that we're all interconnected. The kindness you show to someone else often comes back to you in unexpected ways. The patience you extend to another might inspire them to pass it on. In this way, selflessness isn't just a personal practice. It's a way of contributing to a more compassionate and harmonious world. Through selflessness, you learn that life's greatest rewards aren't found in what you acquire or achieve, but in how you make others feel. And in giving to others, you find that you've also given something invaluable to yourself, the gift of peace, purpose, and a heart unburdened by resentment. As selflessness takes root in your life, you begin to understand that the ultimate act of giving isn't just about helping others, it's about freeing yourself from the chains of anger, resentment, and expectation. This transformation leads to a deeper sense of fulfillment, where your sense of peace is no longer dependent on external circumstances, but flows from within. Forgiveness, often seen as a gift to others, becomes a profound gift to yourself. When you let go of grudges, you release the weight they place on your heart. Imagine carrying a heavy bag on a long journey. Each grievance, every unresolved hurt adds to the load. But the moment you forgive, it's as if you've set that bag down, allowing yourself to walk freely again. Forgiveness isn't about excusing behavior or condoning harm. It's about refusing to let someone else's actions continue to control your emotions. Consider a time when someone hurt you deeply. Maybe they betrayed your trust, dismissed your feelings, or caused you pain in ways you couldn't understand. The instinctive response might have been anger or a desire for retribution. But what did those emotions truly achieve? Did they bring resolution? Or did they keep you locked in a cycle of bitterness? Now imagine choosing forgiveness, not for their sake, but for yours. By letting go, you reclaim your energy, your focus, and your joy. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. These words carry a quiet power. To forgive is not to admit defeat, but to rise above. It's a declaration that your peace matters more than holding on to pain. In forgiving, you protect your soul from being hardened by anger. And as your heart softens, it creates space for understanding, empathy, and love. Forgiveness also deepens your connection to others. When you forgive, you model a way of living that inspires those around you. Think of the relationships in your life, family, friends, colleagues. How often do misunderstandings fester simply because neither party is willing to take the first step toward reconciliation? By choosing forgiveness, you show that healing is possible, even in the face of hurt. This doesn't mean forgiveness comes easily. It's a process, one that often requires patience and reflection. Start small. When someone cuts you off in traffic or speaks harshly in a moment of stress, instead of reacting, take a deep breath and let it go. These small acts of forgiveness build the muscle for greater challenges. Over time, you'll find that forgiving others becomes second nature, a habit that strengthens your inner peace. Selflessness and forgiveness lead to a natural conclusion, a life rooted in gratitude. When you no longer cling to anger or resentment, you begin to see the beauty in what remains. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant. It's a reminder that, even in difficult times, there's so much to appreciate. Think of the simple things we often overlook: the warmth of the sun on your skin, the laughter of a loved one, the comfort of a quiet moment. These small joys, when noticed, become anchors that keep you grounded. Gratitude is the antidote to dissatisfaction. It turns ordinary moments into treasures and reframes challenges as opportunities for growth. Epictetus said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." These words encourage us to focus on the gifts already present in our lives. By practicing gratitude, you cultivate a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. This doesn't mean ignoring hardships, but learning to find light even in the shadows. A powerful exercise in gratitude is to reflect on your day each evening. Ask yourself, what brought me joy today? What am I thankful for? Write these reflections down, no matter how small they seem. Over time, you'll notice how this practice transforms your perspective. You'll begin to see blessings where you once saw burdens, and life will feel richer because of it. As you embrace gratitude, forgiveness, and selflessness, you start to live in harmony with the Stoic ideal of focusing on what you can control. You can't control the behavior of others or the twists and turns of fate, but you can control how you perceive and respond to them. This shift in focus is profoundly empowering. It allows you to navigate life with clarity and purpose, unshaken by external forces. The world around you may remain chaotic, but your inner world becomes a sanctuary. Challenges that once felt insurmountable now become opportunities to practice resilience. Criticism, setbacks, and even loss lose their power to destabilize you because your peace no longer depends on circumstances. It comes from within. This inner transformation not only benefits you, but also radiates outward. When you live with peace and purpose, you inspire those around you to do the same. Your actions, rooted in selflessness and forgiveness, become a quiet yet powerful force for good. You lead by example, showing that it's possible to remain calm in the face of adversity, to choose kindness over anger, and to find joy in even the smallest moments. Ultimately, the path of Stoicism is not about perfection, but progress. It's about learning, growing, and striving to live with integrity and peace. Each day offers a new chance to practice these principles, to forgive a little more, to judge a little less, to embrace life as it is rather than how you wish it to be. And with each step, you move closer to the life you've always wanted, one of freedom, strength, and unshakable tranquility. As you walk this path, remember that it's not the destination, but the journey that matters. The challenges you face are not obstacles, but teachers. guiding you toward a deeper understanding of yourself and the world. And as you master the art of living, you'll discover that the greatest reward isn't what you gain, but who you become. A person of calm, courage, and compassion. Someone who is truly free.